You're watching Nightline and I'm Adrian Seet. The headlines. Government launches Padu database to improve delivery of targeted subsidies. MACC probing 700 million ringgit spent on government publicity since 2020. And 5 dead, 375 escape ablaze after planes collide at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. Thanks for joining us. The Central Database Hub or Padu initiative will help ensure that there are no leakages in the distribution of government aid as well as efficient delivery of targeted subsidies to deserving recipients. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said that the new integrated system aims to be the most comprehensive database established by the government and is also in line with the country's digital transformation approach to reduce costs and wastage. Anwar, who is also Finance Minister, stressed that the distribution of subsidies without a digital approach will only lead to the wealthy and even foreigners benefiting from them.
Tanpa padu, terlalu banyak ketirisan. Tanpa padu, pelaksanaan berkesan, terlalu banyak kebocoran dan penipuan. Kalau tidak ada sebab mengapa masih ada kelompok yang dianggap miskin dalam negara kita. Kalau belanja bantu orang miskin itu 22 bilion dan subsidi itu 80 bilion ringgit. There's something wrong somewhere.
He said this in his speech when launching the National Data Platform in Putrajaya on Tuesday. Anwar added that Malaysians have to register and update their household information in order to prevent them from missing out on future assistance. He also allayed concerns about personal data leaks, as the government had ensured that cybersecurity aspects were prioritized in the development of Padu. Padu, which contains profiles of individuals and households, including citizens and permanent residents in Malaysia, combines data from various government departments and agencies to accurately gauge the socio-economic status of the population and mitigate disparities linked to disposable income. It was officially open from Tuesday until March 31st for the public aged 18 and above to register, update and verify 39 required personal information on the Padu portal. Now, members of the public were reported to be rushing to register with the Padu system through its portal at padu.gov.my as soon as it was launched on Tuesday. Generally, many welcomed the government's initiative, as it was seen as beneficial in the distribution of aid to the people, although some were not convinced about the safety of information stored in the system.
But I think I will register if the government has like very secure system so that my data will not leak. But if they didn't have like the secure system, I don't think I will register.
For me, I think the government should declare about the security of their system first, and then I will go to fill the form lah.
Okay lah, sebab sebelum ni pun nak dapat apa-apa info untuk bantuan pun.
On X said public complaints regarding the issue is being addressed by teams from Padu and the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC. In another development, Anwar said that the implementation of a fairer and a more reasonable wage scheme for civil servants will be expedited. The Prime Minister said that his unity government could not implement a new salary scheme last year due to the country's financial situation.
Kita tidak dapat menyegerakan awal tahun lalu kerana kita warisi kedudukan kewangan yang sangat merumitkan. Ya. Hutang negara pada masa itu masih 1.5 trilion ringgit dan defisit 5.6%.
Previously, Anwar said that he will announce a new salary scheme for civil servants before the end of this year, with guidelines on the matter expected to be unveiled in the first quarter of 2024. On July the 14th, 2023, the government agreed to review the civil service salary scheme, taking into account the increase in the cost of living and the fact that there has been no salary review since 2012. Following this, a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Public Service Reform was held on August 7th last year to discuss the Public Service Remuneration System SSPA as a civil service reform initiative. Meanwhile, Anwar has downplayed the Dubai move that was alleged to be the latest movement by certain quarters to topple the unity government. Anwar stated that the said movement has no impact on his administration and he would rather focus on more pressing matters at hand.
Ya, saya baca dalam media sosial Dubai, tapi bagi saya ini untuk suatu kerja. Itu kerja mereka, bagi saya tak mengesankan. Dan yang penting kita dah mula 2 hari Januari dah mula lancarkan satu program penting bagi rakyat. Tumpuan kita bangunkan negara, jaga rakyat.
On December 30th, the Community Communications Department JCOM Deputy Director General Dato Ismail Yusof claimed that the Dubai move involved a meeting between certain opposition leaders and government representatives during their recent visit to the capital of the United Arab Emirates. It was believed that the meeting was aimed at dividing tasks amongst agents to identify MPs who could switch support to the opposition to form a new government. Now commenting on the same issue at a press conference in Putrajaya on Tuesday, Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi confirmed that he had received intelligence reports on the Dubai move and described the purported movement to topple the unity government as a waste of time.
Laporan dari segi perisikan memang kami perolehi ya, seawal penerbangan mereka sampai ke tempat itu. Dan laporan selepas itu kami perolehi, tapi pada hemat kami langkah itu hanya membuang masa.
The Barisan Nasional chairman, however, declined to disclose the names of the individuals involved in the move. He added that the government's focus is on strengthening the economy and helping the people, and anyone who harboured hopes of toppling the government should wait until the 16th general election to form a new government.
Mayat tu dalam kereta dalam keadaan kepala ke bawah, kaki ke atas, belakang tempat duduk pemandu.
Kes bunuh pemandu Grab Aiman Nosri 27 tahun bermotifkan samun.
Niat samun itu telah menyebabkan kejadian bunuh.
Hutang nyawa mesti dibalas dengan nyawa.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC confirmed on Tuesday that it has launched investigations into issues involving 700 million ringgit that was spent for promotional and publicity purposes under 2 previous prime ministers. Its Senior Director of Investigations, Dato Sri Hishamuddin Hashim, confirmed the matter but refused to reveal further details.
According to a source, the MACC had visited the Finance Ministry and the Prime Minister's Department to start the investigation process, gather information and obtain relevant documents on Tuesday. The investigation was based on the initial information received by the graft buster over the alleged misuse of public funds, following Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's response to a question from Batu MP P. Prabhakaran in the Dewan Rakyat on November 7th. Prabhakaran was seeking an explanation on how much was spent by the government for promotional activities since 2020. The source also said the probe into the expenditure included promotional and publicity initiatives carried out to promote the achievements of the government through all media platforms, including print, digital media and television from 2020 to 2022. It added that the initial investigation was to determine how the money was spent and to determine whether the proper procedures were followed.
Motorists can now renew their driving license and road tags via the My JPJ application beginning February the 1st. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said for the time being, the feature is only open to Malaysians and is not extended to foreign nationals or any pass, long-term permit, My Cars Part or My PR card holders. Those renewing their driving licenses digitally between February the 1st and December 31st, 2024 will be eligible for a RM5 rebate. He added that this is to encourage more Malaysian motorists to use the e-services to renew their licenses. Loke also said that the online renewal of licenses will be implemented in stages, with the first phase being for privately owned vehicles belonging to Malaysians. The floods in several states during the month of December have caused an estimated 1 million ringgit in damages to various schools and assets belonging to the Education Ministry. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said that this is based on preliminary reports, adding that the respective state education departments and district education officers were still assessing the damages sustained by the schools.
Walau bagaimanapun, laporan anggaran kerosakan ini kita akan terima sepenuhnya, insya-Allah, bagi memastikan pentaksiran kerosakan itu dan bantuan-bantuan kecemasan berkaitan dengan penyelenggaraan keseluruhan kerosakan yang melibatkan sekolah-sekolah kita ini dapat dibaiki dengan segera bagi memastikan pendidikan dan juga ekosistem pendidikan ini lebih kondusif untuk pembelajaran anak-anak kita.
The relevant state education departments and district education officers have taken appropriate measures to ensure that the schools can operate normally, such as relocating stocks or surplus furniture and textbooks from schools within the same district to those in need. A total of 133 primary schools, 23 secondary schools and a Permata childcare centre were affected by the floods during the recent northeast monsoon season. Meanwhile, some 207 education institutions were converted into relief centres, comprising 173 primary schools, 33 secondary schools and 1 vocational college. Fadlina said that as of 4 p.m. on Monday, 9 primary schools and 1 secondary school were still affected by floods, while 2 primary schools were still being used as relief centres. Nonetheless, she said all educational institutions under her ministry that were affected by the floods have resumed operations on Tuesday. Japan in battle against time to rescue survivors after nearly 50 killed in earthquake. News from the foreign front when we return.
Jangan pandang ringan dan mudah. Anggap batuk awak ini serius. Woods ubat batuk dengan rasa pudina. Memberi sensasi kelegaan di kerongkong. Berkesan melegakan batuk. Woods ubat batuk yang saya percaya.
Sekejap je nak masuk tahun 2024 kan?
Azam tahun baru macam mana? Ada matlamat baru atau copy paste je?
Kalau ada luka, jangan makan kicap, petua atau mitos.
My Digital ID. Sejauh mana tahap keselamatan data peribadi kita?
Evolusi batik merentang zaman, jadi kenali identiti batik tempatan.
Cukai jualan 10% untuk barangan import. Pembelian dalam talian bawah RM500. Setuju tak?
Saksikan MHID TV3
dan stream HD melalui aplikasi Tonton.
Welcome back. In Japan, at least 5 people were killed and another seriously injured on Tuesday when a Japan Airlines plane burst into flames on the runway of Tokyo's Haneda Airport after apparently colliding with a Coast Guard aircraft. The 5 killed were on board the Coast Guard aircraft, while all 367 passengers and 12 crew on board the Airbus plane were safely evacuated. The pilot of the Coast Guard aircraft who evacuated is reportedly severely injured. It was reported that the incident occurred while the Coast Guard aircraft was going to fly earthquake relief to the Niigata prefecture on the country's west coast after a series of strong tremors left widespread damage. Live footage on public broadcaster NHK showed the Japan Airlines aircraft bursting into flames as it skidded down the tarmac at about 6 p.m. local time. It was later overwhelmed by the blaze despite feverish efforts by the rescue crew to control the fire. So far, there was no immediate information about the cause of the incident, and an investigation into the incident has been launched. In the meantime, all runways at Haneda, one of Tokyo's 2 main airports, have been closed. Still in Japan, rescuers are battling against the clock and powerful aftershocks on Tuesday to find survivors on a New Year's Day earthquake that killed at least 48 people and caused widespread destruction. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has warned that the damage is widespread, and with rescue teams struggling to access some remote areas, it is feared that casualties could rise. Kishida said rescuers were finding it very difficult to access the northern tip of the Noto Peninsula, where helicopter surveys had discovered many fires and widespread damage to buildings and infrastructure. Authorities said rescue efforts had been hindered by damaged roads and that they were finding it difficult to assess the full extent of the fallout. Nearly 100,000 people across 9 prefectures were evacuated and spent the night in sports halls and school gymnasiums, commonly used as evacuation centers during emergencies in the country. Meanwhile, Japan's meteorological agency has lifted all tsunami advisories along the Sea of Japan following the quake. However, weather officials warned that strong aftershocks may occur in the coming week, especially over the next 2 to 3 days. Zionist attacks have continued across the Gaza Strip on Tuesday, with little let up as the death toll in the enclave rose above the latest milestone of 22,000. According to Gaza's health ministry, 207 Palestinians have been killed in 15 Zionist attacks over the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of deaths in Gaza since October the 7th to 22,185. Air and ground attacks continued across the Strip, including in the south, where hundreds of thousands of displaced people have been directed to seek safety. Meanwhile, senior fellow at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs, Adel Abdel Ghaffar, said that with at least 22,000 Palestinians massacred in Gaza, Israel has lost its carte blanche from Western allies. He added that this, as scenes of carnage, displaced population, dead children and starvation fill our screens, the tide is really shifting. Massive pro-Palestinian rallies across Europe and the United States have exerted pressure on politicians, with some European countries changing their tone on Gaza and calling for a ceasefire, something Israel has firmly rejected. Meanwhile, displaced Gazans living in tent camps in Rafah city said they were afraid to go back home without Israel and Hamas agreeing to a ceasefire. Palestinian families say they have no choice but to continue living in the camp despite dire conditions and shortages until Israel forces retreat from Gaza completely and end their operations there. 32-year-old mother of 3, Samar Saleh, who was displaced from Sheikh Radwan, a district in Gaza city, says some of the people who decided to go back were killed.
في ناس رجعوا بس انطخوا يعني طبع اليهود الخدعة المكر والخداع يعني هم بيحكوا قدام العالم انه هم انسحبوا انه الطريق آمن وفعليا بضربونا واحنا في الطريق يعني 10 شهداء راحوا هيك فطيس حتى انه ما في اسعاف ياخذهم يعني الجثث معمية في الشوارع الكلاب بتاكلها فاحنا لسه بس حتى من طرف حركة المقاومة تعلن انه تم وقف اطلاق النار احنا بنصدق يعني اما طول ما اليهود هذا اشاعات اليهود بس هيك حرب اشاعات نفسيا.
South Korea's opposition party leader Lee Jae-myung has been taken to hospital on Tuesday after being attacked during a visit to the southern port city of Busan. Now, the attack took place during a question and answer session with reporters after a visit to the construction site of a new airport on Gadiok Island. Lee, the leader of the Liberal Democratic Party, was making his way through a crowd in the port city of Busan when he was attacked and stabbed on the left side of his neck. He was taken to a hospital in Busan, then flown to Seoul by helicopter for treatment at the Seoul National University Hospital and is said to be recovering and conscious in an intensive care unit. Now, according to authorities, the assailant, who was a 66-year-old man, has been detained and was under investigation for a possible charge of attempted murder. However, they did not identify the suspect and said the motive was being investigated. Injured Djokovic sends Serbia into the last 8. Sports after this breather.
Mayat tu dalam kereta dalam keadaan kepala ke bawah, kaki ke atas, belakang tempat duduk pemandu.
Kes bunuh pemandu Grab Aiman Nosri 27 tahun bermotifkan samun.
Niat samun itu telah menyebabkan kejadian bunuh.
Hutang nyawa mesti dibalas dengan nyawa.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
Tayangan 10 malam pastinya menembusi imajinasi, mengundang misteri dan menghidupkan aksi. Anak Perjanjian Syaitan, 5 Januari.
Anak yang kau kandung tu, anak benih syaitan kau tahu tak?
Too Fast, Too Furious, 12 Januari.
I want to keep your eyes on the road, Playboy.
Fast and Furious, 19 Januari.
I didn't know there were any rules.
The Thieves, 26 Januari.
Ready, action!
Melangkah ke aras baru 2024 bersama kami. TV3 sentiasa bersamamu.
We're back with sports. Tennis, the United Cup. World number 1 Novak Djokovic endured a wrist injury as Serbia defeated Czech Republic 2-1 in Perth on Tuesday. Take a look. Wimbledon champion Markita Vondrousova gave Czech Republic an early lead after defeating Olga Danilovic 6-1, 3-6, 6-3 in the women's single match. However, Djokovic, who struggled with the wrist problem throughout the match, managed to defeat Jiri Lehika 6-1, 6-7, 6-1. Djokovic opted out of the mixed doubles, while his compatriots Danilovic and Hamad Medjidovic rallied against Czechs Miriam Kolodziejczova and Petr Nusa to earn a dramatic 4-6, 7-5, 10-8 win. Serbia finished as Group E winner and will take on Group C winner Australia in the last 8 on Wednesday. In another match, Chile pulled off a stunning 2-1 victory against Greece in their Group B clash on Tuesday. Chilean number 1 Nicolas Jarry eased past 19-year-old Stefanos Sakellaridis 6-3, 3-6, 7-5. However, Greece levelled the tie as world number 8 Maria Sakkari outclassed Daniela Siguel 6-love, 6-1 in the women's singles. Tomás Barrios Vera and Siguel then defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas and Sakkari in the mixed doubles event to seal the tie. With this win, Chile move atop Group B with a 1-all tie. When Nightline returns, man found dead after neck pinned under bank's shutter door. Stay with us.
Drama-drama terbaik 2024 membawa anda ke dunia berbeza. Ketawa bersama, kekal selamanya. Lestari Hot Fellas mulai 4 Januari 9 malam. Kasih yang kudamba, Akasia, Cinta Bersemi di Wadi Safia mulai 9 Januari 7 malam. Perpisahan tidak diduga, Samarinda Menanti Senja mulai 17 Januari 10 malam. Melangkah ke aras baru 2024 bersama kami. TV3 sentiasa bersamamu.
Mayat tu dalam kereta dalam keadaan kepala ke bawah, kaki ke atas, belakang tempat duduk pemandu.
Kes bunuh pemandu Grab Aiman Nosri 27 tahun bermotifkan samun.
Niat samun itu telah menyebabkan kejadian bunuh.
Hutang nyawa mesti dibalas dengan nyawa.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD ditonton.
Welcome back. In Selangor, a man in his 50s died in a freak accident after his head was pinned under the automatic shutter door of a bank in Kota Kemuning, Shah Alam for 6 hours early Tuesday morning. District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Iqbal Ibrahim said the bank's CCTV footage showed that the victim, believed to be drunk, entering the premises at 11:48 p.m. on Monday. He then laid down at the front of the entrance to the automated teller machine area. However, the victim did not realize that the automatic shutter door would begin to close at midnight, causing his neck to be caught under it. His body was later discovered by passers-by after the shutter door automatically reopened at 6 a.m. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene by medical officers from the Tuanku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital in Klang. No identification documents were found on the victim, and the case has been classified as sudden death. The Royal Malaysia Police (PDRM) has confirmed the arrest of a man allegedly to be a Malaysian drug lord in Laos on December 28th. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Sri Muhammad Kamarudin Maddin said PDRM is cooperating with Thailand's Office of Narcotics Control Board (ONCB) and the Lao Police to conduct further investigations into the case. In a statement on Tuesday, Muhammad Kamarudin said the 41-year-old suspect was apprehended in Vientiane, Laos, for not possessing a valid travel document under the Lao Immigration Act. He also said the ONCB had proposed to the Lao police to deport the suspect to Thailand, as he has been blacklisted under the Thai Narcotics Act. Initial investigations found that the man hailing from Parit Bunta Perak was believed to be linked to a drug syndicate network in Malaysia. The Thai police in a statement said that the suspect was arrested in a joint Thai-Laos operation and he is believed to be a key figure involved in supplying and coordinating drug activities in the Golden Triangle area since 2006. In Perlis, an event manager come freelance tour guide was charged at the Kanga Magistrates Court with trafficking more than 3 kilograms of ganja at the Malaysia-Thailand border in Wang Kelian last month. 25-year-old P. Navianthiran nodded when the charge was read to him before Magistrate Nur Shahidah Abdul Rahim. According to the charge sheet, the accused was alleged to have trafficked 3.68 kilograms of cannabis at the pedestrian lane of the Wang Kelian Immigration's Customs Quarantine and Security Complex on December 21st. The charge was framed under Section 39B subsection 1 subsection A of the Dangerous Drugs Act, that is punishable under Section 39B subsection 2 of the same Act that carries a death penalty or lifetime imprisonment and is also liable to 15 strokes of the cane upon conviction. No bail was offered to the accused as it is a non-bailable offence. The court set March the 6th for mention pending a chemist report. It was reported that on December 21st, the Perlis Customs Department foiled an attempt to smuggle compressed ganja worth about 11,408 ringgit into the country following the arrest of the man. The drugs, packed in belacan-like wrapping, was found in a luggage carried by the accused. A brief encounter with a woman on social media led to a 42-year-old labourer to be duped of 29,000 ringgit in a love scam. Sharing his story, the victim, known as Fung, claimed that he got to know the individual through Facebook on December the 5th before starting a relationship with a woman. He said they frequently chatted via WhatsApp before the suspect invited him to join a business via an application which promised lucrative returns. Fung said he was required to buy items such as watches and jewelry and later sell them to obtain a commission. He added that 3 transactions amounting to 29,000 ringgit to different accounts were made between December 13th and 18th. However, the victim then found that the so-called profits could not be withdrawn. Fung said efforts to contact the woman failed after his calls and messages were not replied, prompting him to lodge a police report at the Kuantan District Police Headquarters on December 24th. Fung relayed his experience in a media conference that was also attended by Semambu Assemblyman Chan Chun Kwang and the Malaysian International Humanitarian Organisation Public Relations Officer Daniel Koo on Tuesday. Koo reminded the public not to click on links or respond to unexpected texts on social media platforms. Meanwhile, Chan said he will be meeting with the police to gather more details on the case and to see how they could track down the culprits involved to recover Fung's money. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look as the British Royal Mint unveils new coins, all marking special occasions, including the 200-year anniversaries of both the National Gallery of London and the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, as well as 150 years since the birth of former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for watching Nightline, and stay safe, Malaysia.